Thanks for attending the Spire Integration Partner Trade Show. My name is Natalie from Orchid Systems, the developers of Info Explorer, a business intelligence tool like an Excel pivot table connecting directly to your Spire data. In this presentation, we will show you how Info Explorer can help you analyze interactively your Spire operational data. We often compare Info Explorer to pivot tables, because you can analyze using your multi-dimensional cubes. You can combine multiple data sources within a single file. You can slice and dice to dynamically control and filter your views so that you can tailor your analysis by different perspectives, such as vendor and items, product code, warehouse, expected arrival date, year of the transaction. You can also include user-defined fields on vendors and items and purchases in the cube. You can use it to analyze your business performance, identify trends and exceptions, and you can create your own dashboards and personalize the styles, such as by adding traffic light reporting, which we will look at today. Also has an integrated budgeting and forecasting component, including the ability to budget bottom-up or top-down with multiple spread methods and write back the data to your ERP systems. We will not look at that today. I'm going to do this presentation on a sample data, which is a fitness company selling equipment, fitness equipment, gym equipment, and other fitness-related supplements. We find the best way to uncover the potential of Info Explorer for your business is to try with the free Info Explorer Lite. It's a fully functional edition. There's no time limit, no commitment, and it's ideal for a trial. And with that version, you can use the range of predefined sample cubes, including most of the ones we're going to look at today. You just connect it to your data, pull in your data. You can still customize the cubes, add some charts and dashboards, but you can't change the underlying query and you can't export to Excel. But apart from that, it is fully functional. To start this presentation, we're going to log into Info Explorer, just open my machine, and I'm going to open a cube that I've already got here called Purchase History. And I'm going to start interacting with these views and the information that I have in this cube to show you how we can do some ad hoc analysis and some iterative exploration of the operational data. I'll start with my dashboard, which shows me my top 5 vendors in the different years. So any vendor that has been in the top 5, either in 2020 or in 2021. And then our overall rank. So National Equipment is the vendor that we're working the most with, followed by Orchid Systems, followed by Spire China over the last 2 years. But I can look at the detail and see that many of them have decreased, but I have new vendors that have come into play, like Forrester Food and Empire Health Distribution. I have another representation here through a chart, and this is something that we have configured in the sample and that you can configure yourself to meet your specific analysis needs. Then I've also got some detail by item and by product code. So this is our grouping of items, and I can see that in 2020 equipment was one of the biggest purchases that we had, which makes sense because generally equipment is more expensive. So I can expand on this and see all the different items that I've purchased with the purchase order and the date that these transactions happened. And I can also select one if I want to see what's happening in the warranty section. I can right click, drill down, and I can see more detail about the information that is included in there. In this case, there's only one PO. If I want to see the detail with Stairmaster Stair Climber, select that total and drill down, and I see that we've had 3 POs over the last 2 years with those details. We've also got some more detail by year. So in these views, and you can copy the view and then do some changes to it. So we might actually do that. I'm going to rename it and call it. When I'm looking at this information, you can see that we're actually calculating, displaying the percent change between 2020 and 2021. And if I had more years, I would see the change between 2020, 2021, and then 2021 and 2022. So in this case, I can see that for many of our vendors, the total purchase has decreased, but one has had a very big increase. So if I look at this a bit more closely, I can see that Forester Food Ingredients basically would have been a new vendor in 2021. We did very little business with them in 2020, and it's grown a lot in 2021. If I want to analyze in more detail, I can choose to filter by Forester. So I deselect everything, choose just Forester Food, and then I can expand. I'm seeing here all the different items that I've bought from Forester Food in 2021. I can add my product grouping, which is all under supplements. I can also add my buyer's name if I need to. It hasn't been entered. We can also then filter to show me only 2021. And I'm going to drag the location here so that I can see the detail by location. And this is all happening in Montreal. So, as you can see, this is just sample data, but we have the ability, without having to rerun a report, log into the system and run another report. Well, the data is in here, and I can change how I view it based on what I'm trying to do and the type of analysis that I'm trying to do at that point in time. So this purchases analysis is useful from an operation point of view to find out, how our vendors are going, what stock we have, and what we're purchasing. So here I have more detail by product code, and if I want to see what's happening in the warranty area, I can expand there and see all the different POs and the dates. And as previously, I can then add my vendor, or I can do this analysis by warehouse and maybe select only the Vancouver warehouse and add the vendor here. Can expand this a bit. This type of information is useful for the purchase manager, for the warehouse team members who all need to know what's going on with various purchases. We also have a cube showing us open purchase orders. So this tells us when the PO was dated and when the expected arrival date is, and what's the remaining quantity and the value of that quantity. So I've got my items, my purchase orders, and my dates. It's relevant for the warehouse manager or the purchase manager. It's also relevant in terms of collaborating with the sales team and with customers to let them know what's going on with stock when there are back orders. So, related to the open purchase order cube, we find that the open sales order, which could actually be combined in the same file if you wanted to, gives us an idea as to how many back orders we have by customers and also by item. So I can look at it under my accessories, or actually have a lot of back orders for the Acme Jump Rope 2. I can cross-check against my open purchase orders to see if any jump ropes are coming and when they are coming. Looks like we've only got jump rope, the Acme Jump Rope 1, or the basic one, that is coming, so maybe it is time to place a new PO for the Acme Jump Rope 2. So as previously, I can make a copy of that view and rename it. I can drag information from here. For example, I could have the vendor so that I can manage my outstanding purchase orders with the different vendors. And I can add my warehouse. If I want more detail, I can add the purchase unit of measure, the buyer's name, and the currency, depending on what I'm trying to do. One thing we didn't touch on before is the fact that you can export all these views to CSV, HTML, or Excel. And for that, you actually need a full license. You can't just export with the light free version. You could add your own dashboard and new charts from these views, as we have demonstrated in the other example, so we will not look at that in this particular cube. So these are all configurable. I can configure the background color, add my traffic light reporting here under styles, and align my numbers right or center, change the font, and apply different rules for the different fields. I can also add fields to the cube if required. So on the properties here, this is where I connect to my database. This is where I say where the data is coming from. I can add my user-defined fields, and I click refresh to connect to my database and refresh it. You can also run batch file to refresh automatically and send, for example, each buyer a cube with their purchases and their vendors. So you can tailor how you use that information, who receives it, and what they can do with it. As we mentioned in the introduction, the best way to get started is to download Info Explorer, and you have access to all the sample cubes that are available. And we add new cubes regularly, and you can also, through your business partner, contact us if you have requirements that are currently not catered for in those cubes. This is what we have at the moment around purchases and sales. And in some of the other streams, we are demonstrating the sales cube, the financial cubes, and a more general introduction on how to get started with Info Explorer. So when it comes to Info Explorer for operations, we've looked at the purchase history cube with a dashboard, some charts. We've seen how we can change how we analyze the purchases by year, by vendor group, by product code, look at detail by item, look at the actual detail purchases, calculate some percentages, drill down to detail, analyze, including our user-defined fields on items or on vendor or on the actual purchases. We've also looked at an open purchase order cube, which helps us manage vendor relations. The open sales order cube, which is relevant for operation. Again, it can be used to help with the purchases and to help with managing the customer relations from an operations point of view. And all this is configurable. Once you have the cube, you can interact with the data the way you want, but you can also, with a little bit of help from your Spire partner and a good understanding of the data behind it, configure the cube, add calculation, and add some traffic light reporting and some styles to change the look of your cube and your dashboards. We will be releasing an inventory cube shortly, so stay tuned and have a look at the Info Explorer website. As mentioned before, all the formulas and the styles are all user definable, and the online help that you can access from the website explains to you how to get started and also how to use some of the more advanced functionality like adding styles and formulas. Info Explorer is developed by Orchid Systems. We are a financial software company based in Sydney, Australia, and we have over 7,000 sites in 80 plus countries, supported by 450 business partners across the world. implementing our software. We've been in business for 30 years, and specifically around Info Explorer, we have our Info Explorer website, which gives you some background about what is Info Explorer, how it works, its features. We have the resources. This is where you can come and download the product, download the Getting Started guide. Once you have installed the product, you can look at the sample cubes in here, and they are also accessible from the application as we have looked at. And you have access to various video, training video presentation on what you can do with Info Explorer, and access the online help. For more information on Info Explorer, to discuss how it can help your business analyze your operational data and your other data, you can contact your Spire partner, who will be able to assist with installing the light version or purchasing a license for Info Explorer. Thank you for your time.